Perfect fit closets. How to use garage cabinetry. We'll be taking a look at our T-Mod, our tall cabinet, and our T-Mod tall cabinet stretchable, formerly known as single. On the right-hand side, we do see an example in our 2020 render. We've created this cabinetry line with base cabinetry on the top. We have wall cabinetry in the middle, tall cabinetry on the ends, and base cabinetry at the bottom. We also have an OmniTrack with some accessories, and we'll show you how to create a design like so. I have my 2020 platform open, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the File and New button to create a brand new design. In our local browser, I've got my Perfect Fit Canada Canadian catalog. In our category section, we have two sections. We have the closet component, and we have the garage component, and below that is a kitchen door and drawer standalones, as well as our catalog date. When we're using our module systems between our closets and garage cabinetry, please make a note that if you use closet modules, you'll use closet parts. If you use garage cabinets and garage cabinet modules, you have to use the garage components and parts as well. If you'd like to start mixing and matching, you'll start having to use a different design or use standalone items or drag and drop non-graphical items. Let's go ahead and begin by clicking our room layout tab, and we're going to click on the continuous wall, and let's create garage cabinetry. Let's set this for length 200, 200 on the back wall, and let's set 200 on the right wall. Hit Enter and hit Escape on my keyboard. I have 3 walls. I'm going to right click the wall itself, left click on properties, and I'm going to change the wall group in its entirety. I've selected the wall group, so everything has been highlighted, and the height, let's change this to 130 inches high. We're going to left click apply and OK, and I've got now the height of 130 inches. I'm going to left click the back wall, wall number 2. I see the placement zone, and I'm going to double click the area to create my elevation view. I've got a split screen at the very bottom of my top view, and at the very portion top view screen here is the elevation view. If I scroll down to my garage cabinets, we can see here we have one called modules for closets and cabinets for garages. If I double click our cabinets, I have my T-Mod tall cabinet, S-Mod base cabinet, and W-Mod for upper cabinet. For this portion, we'll talk about our tall cabinet line. Let's take a look at our properties and how that gets installed. I'm going to left click my T-Mod or tall cabinet. I'm going to drag it into my elevation view. Once I see my magnet, go to my farthest working left and let go of my mouse. A new dialog box appears. I'm going to right click the illustration so that I can see it a bit better. In our rows, we have height 95.5. That is the standard default height of 95.5, and that is the highest that we can go. The shortest that you can go is going to be 12 3/8. So hit 12 and left click off screen, click on OK, and the lowest that I can go is 12 3/8. Let's use the standard default height of 95.5. Left click on the gray area, and we'll keep it at the standard height. Cabinet depth. If I left click the drop down button, I have presets of 12, 14, 16, 19, and 24. Please note there is no customize button, and those are the standard depths of our garage cabinetry line. Let's click on the 24 inches deep. Cabinet width, the default is 36, but we have presets of 18, 24, 30, and 36, and we have custom, so we can still go to a 1/16 of an inch. If I left click custom, I can now change it to whole numbers and change the up and down arrows on the right-hand side for incremental numbers to a 1/16 of an inch. Let's keep it to the standard 36 inches for now. We still have the clearance on the left and clearance on the right when we're dragging and dropping, if we want to have any clearances on the left or clearances on the right. Let's grab a 1-inch clearance at 1. We'll have 0 to the right because we're going to keep adding modules on the right-hand side. And the new feature is a 6-inch leg, or we have no leg. If we choose a 6-inch leg, this helps with our structural stability, as well as it allows for the cabinetry to withstand water. Because these are aluminum legs, it won't touch the wooden cabinetry, so it won't soak or dampen the wooden core material and damage the product. Garage cabinetry should never have wooden core product right on the floor, because we know with garage cabinetry, there's vehicles always coming and going that have a lot of snow or rain, and we want to keep it away from the wetness. If we take a look at a garage cabinetry line, we notice that we have a left and right panel, and we cannot remove the panel in our variables here. It is a solid cabinetry with inset backing here. We'll take a look at that in just a moment here. We've got a two-piece inset backing, and if we look ever so closely, we also have pre-drilled holes, 3 at the top, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the back, and also 3 at the very bottom. So we're going to use different types of screws to combine the two. And we also have pre-drills at the very bottom as well, so that we can combine the backing to our cabinetry line. So this unit is a one-piece unit, cannot be shared panels. And that's very similar to kitchen cabinetry, where we have inset backing and we make the box on the ground, add the legs, and insert it to the back. We'll click on OK. We'll go as far left as possible, left click once. And because we have a 1-inch variance and a clearance on the left, we can see here that I went as far left as possible, but regardless, because I asked for a 1-inch variance, it offsetted that and gave me 1-inch variance. Now let's take a look a little bit closely on how to install this and how this works. Let's right click on the actual T-mod itself. Let's left click our attributes. Right-click the illustration so we can see a bit better. So we have line boring holes on the inside, and we have a clean face on the outside with the exception of the pre-drilled holes. If we take a look at all the components in the General tab, we can see that the garage lefts will come with dowels and conformant screws. The garage panel on the right will come with dowels and conformant screws. Same thing with the garage deck, which is known as the bottom. The bottom and the top fixed shelves are now called decks. Garage deck. We also have the same piece. So every single part will come with dowels and conformant screws. The garage backs will actually come with wafer screws, as well as flat screws for the legs. Let's take a look into our dealer portal for our fasteners. This is our dealer portal. I'm going to hover over the product overview, left click our job aids and fasteners, and left click the fastener link. In the fastener link, there's a few screws to make a note of. The first noticeable screw that we're going to be adding is the conformant screw, 7 by 50 millimeters. It is used in garage cabinet applications only. This is the screw that joins the panel to the decks. This screw will be inserted from the panel and into the back panel. This same screw will also connect the panel into the decks at the very bottom. So we've pre-drilled these holes for you, and you just add these conformant screws right in place. We also have these wafer screws. We've noticed that we also have wafer screws that come with it. These wafer screws is to insert it. So once you've actually made your box, you're going to take the wafer screw and screw it from the back panel and into the wooden stud. It's a 3-inch wafer screw. Therefore, this will secure it tightly to the back wall. We're going to click on OK. Now let's go ahead and add one more module. Let's grab the tall module. We're going to drag it into our elevation view. Once I see my magnet, I'm going to let go of my mouse. And let's change the different sizes here. Instead of 95.5, let's drop down the section to below 48 inches. And the reason why I want to do that is I want to give the back panel a one-piece. So right now we've got a one-piece back panel, and if we keep increasing it, we want to increase it and identify what height is needed for a one-piece. So we're 48 7/8, still a one-piece. We go to 50, and now it's 2 pieces. So if we wanted a tall cabinet with the back panel to be one piece, the maximum height is going to be 48 7/8. We'll left click OK, and we can drop it in. We'll click up and down, 6 inches from the bottom. And let's add some legs to this. Left click my attributes. We can always go back into our attributes tab and into our variables and always change the portions there. We want the 6-inch leg. We'll click on apply and OK. And now we've added our one piece back. And we can see here, this is a 95.5-inch unit with 2 pieces. We have doweled these things together, the two, so that you can easily combine them. And here is our one piece back for our cabinetry. Most of the garage cabinetry will be hidden behind doors, and most back panels will be covered. The seam will be covered by a fixed shelf if we put a fixed shelf or an adjustable shelf in place. Let's try that one more time. We'll grab a tall cabinet. We'll drag it in. Once I see my magnet, go to my farthest working left and let go of my mouse. Let's keep this again at 95.5 inches. We'll keep it at 24 inches depth and 36 inches wide. We'll click on OK. We'll drag it in. Now we've dropped it. Now we're going to left click up and down. And in my placement zone on the left-hand side, we want this to be 6 inches from the bottom so that we can have some legs. We can always right click, go back into our attributes and add the legs afterwards. If the legs do not show up or appear, we could always go back. Add it in the leg, apply. I now see it arrive. We'll click on OK and drop. The next thing is our tall cabinet stretchable. If we have an area where we want to resize the cabinet width, we can certainly do so. We can left click the tall cabinet stretchable, drag it into our elevation. Once I see my magnet, I'm going to let go of my mouse. We're going to right click the illustration so we can see better. We can keep it at 95.5. And this time we're going to have 2 inches off the right wall. We want 24 inches deep and with a 6-inch leg. We'll click on OK. Oh, and we can't place that item, so I dropped it a little bit too far. So let's just go a little bit closer to the left. So left click my tall module stretchable. Once I see my magnet, go to my farthest working left. So there. Oop, try that again. Tall cabinet stretchable. Drag it in. Drop it as far left as possible. There we go. Right click the illustration. We want a 2-inch variance on the right. Click on OK. And we'll just drop it for now. So once it's dropped, right click up and down, 6 inches from the bottom, enter. And now we can right click, drag, attach it. Right click again, resize width, and fill in the gap. If you note, we cannot share panels, therefore we're going to have 2 modules in place here. We noted that this module here, for example, is going to be 36 inches. If we take a look at the schematics below, we have 3/4 inches, 34.5 inside width, and a 3/4 inches on the panel. So to make a note, since I'm in attributes, take a look here. If I left click on variables, I've got a 36-inch width. Therefore, to summarize, whenever we're making our cabinet width, it's always taking into account from outside panel to outside panel. If we take a look at the closet components, it's taking the inside panel to inside panel schematics. So that's a slight difference. So please make a note and always use your line-to-line annotations. So to quickly recap, our garage cabinetry line, our T-Mod tall cabinet, and our T-Mod tall cabinet stretchable. To recap, we have our module. It comes with back, left and right panels, all three 3/4 inches, but the top deck and the bottom deck are 1 inch for structural stability. All garage cabinetry don't share panels, and it comes fully assembled pardon me, it comes with left, right, top, bottom, and backs, just like a pre-made box. However, you're building it right on site because we're still going to be flat packing it to you to save costs on shipping. To install, the new screws are going to be the Conformat screws, which we pre-drilled. We'll also give you dowels for it. And we also have the wafer screws to attach the back panel right onto the wooden stud so that we can secure it to the back wall. When joining the two together, you can certainly use the screws that are provided. The screws provided are going to be 1 1/4 inch screws. If your designer or installer wishes to use more structural sound fasteners, we could also use this, and it is optional. We have the connector sleeve M4 and the metric screw M4. We have a female end and a male end. You can pre-drill these, you can hide these behind hinges, combine them together, and we can easily add this in there as well. Whenever we're designing and we want to add a few of those screws, we can always right-click the item, go to Show Item List. And then in the Show Item List, we can always go into our local browser, go into our garage cabinetry line, left-click our hardware, left-click our hardware again, and here we see non-graphical. These items need to be used in item list and sold as per piece. I can left-click my accessories extra costs, so we can drag and drop it in there. I have my connector sleeve. I can left-click, drag it into my show item list, and I can identify how many that I wish to have. I can say that I want 10 just in general. Now that is the sleeve itself. This is the female end, and then the metric M4, which is the other piece, which is the male end. We'll click on OK. And I have $1.50, and I can buy 10 pairs of the connector sleeve and the metric screw. Installers can use their drilling tool, go behind hinges or wherever they feel necessary, and now they can combine the two panels together. I right click and go into my show design, and this is how I would join them together. Again, you can use 1 1/4 inch screw that's supplied, or you can use these connector sleeves and metric screw together. Because these actually have a Phillips driver on both left and right side, it can really tighten the panels together and really combine the two structures together. Last but not least is our legs. Our legs come with 6-inch legs. They are aluminum, but they also have a 1-inch adjustment on them. If we go back into our fasteners, we can go at the very bottom and find our garage legs, or at the very top, I think. Okay, so it's not showcased here, but they are aluminum legs, and they have a 1-inch adjustability. If you have any questions regarding garage cabinetry, regarding our TallMod tall cabinet or T-Mod tall cabinet stretchable, formerly single, please do connect with us at support@perfectfitcanada.com. This will allow you to make garage cabinetry that is structurally sound, and an idea here on the right-hand side.